Yo, good morning, good morning. What's going on, everyone? Guys, I really liked doing this on Friday. I really did. I thought the Riot MMO raid bosses for Targon was fun. I think the best part was that I kind of got to free talk about the lore. A lot of the times when I go through just the straight lore, it's really scripted, right? I have like this lore that I have to hit. Then compared to with the Riot MMO raid bosses, I was kind of like, let me just discuss the lore of this zone and this character. And so I think we should keep doing it. We're gonna go through the top 10 potential Shurima raid bosses in the Riot MMO. If we look at the map here, we'll do that at the top of the hour. So at like 8 o'clock. Oh, the MP. Well, I'm glad it's green. I'm glad it's doing well. So if we look at Shurima, we'll go Targon, Shurima, and if there's anything that like someone wants me to hit, like a zone, I can move it up. But we're gonna go Targon, Shurima. I think we'll go down here to Acacia, or maybe we should go Ishtal and then Acacia, because I feel like Shurima and Ishtal tie into Acacia really well because of the Void War, right? Because Shurima and Ishtal both had God Warriors, and both ended up in the Void War in Acacia. Then we'll jump on Bilgewater, maybe Piltover and Zon, Ionia, Shadow Isles, Noxus, Demacia, Freljord. Man, can we do Vandal City? I don't know if there are any raid bosses in Vandal City. Oh, let me queue up here. Oh, wait. I'm gonna keep doing Doombots. Although I'm not gonna even worry about hard mode. But yeah, can I do Vandal City? I'm not really sure. Let me switch to the desktop here. Mute the music. Let me see. There we go. Where's Vandal City? I don't know if I can do Vandal City. Is the one place that I don't know if I can do it. Just because Vandal City, I mean, what's gonna be a raid boss in Vandal City? Let alone 10 raid bosses. I can do the Spirit Realm. We can maybe do that one as like the 12 top 10 raid boss of the Riot MMO. But I mean, you're not gonna fight. I mean, Vagar may be a raid boss for fun. I did learn how to play Aurelion Sol a little bit yesterday. So I kind of want to play him again. I kept freaking doing the beam and then I'd move like an idiot. The game's a little loud. Let me lower it. Let's drop it down like it's 40. I think that's better. Let me know if the game is still a little too loud. Oh, I think my mic's not that the game is loud, my mic is quiet. That's what it is. Somehow, my nieces and nephews were over the other day, and one of them was playing Toontown on my computer. So I think that's what's happening. There we go. Okay, I think we're good now. That's the right settings. Yeah, they really like Toontown. I don't know if anyone's ever played Toontown. We might do a playthrough of it, like how I did with old school RuneScape, and talk about like what we want and don't want for the Riot MMO. I gotta change the character to Aurelion Sol. Yeah, I think we'll play League of Legends till like 8, talk about Runeterra lore, anything you guys want to talk about for Runeterra lore, and then we'll go into the article.
Rise and shine. It's time to die.
20 ability power, 45. I'm sure there's like an order I'm supposed to go with these things. Like, oh, buy this book first. But, I mean, how much difference does it really make?
Call me a comet. They call me a dragon. They have no words for my true form.
I gotta hire the voice lines for you guys. They call me a dragon. They have no words for my true form. Oh man, we've already got like a team fight.
Time to gather the necessary matter.
Oh, I see. Okay, I literally click it where I want to go.
I end up back here under
All right.
this sun.
There, that's how it's done. Oh shoot. Yeah, like I can do this. Damn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I gonna die? And there's all traps.
Violent as it is.
I thought it was Timo that did all these traps, bro. Oh my gosh, they're still following me.
My stars shine for all.
I got a lane for a bit. Right? Isn't that the most important thing is the levels? These things are just trailing me, bro. How do I get rid of my, like, cursed? Oh, shoot. Oh my gosh. Jeez, bro. This guy's gonna kill me. You know what I thought there was? You know what I keep looking for? Those little green things. You used to find like those little green plants. You hit it once and it drops like a bunch of health. Oh, let me buy something. Okay. You know, we still haven't won. I still haven't won at least one of these games, like the Doombot rounds. See, like I need to go like that. That's how it's played. That's how it's played. Yeah, where are you gonna go now? Oh shoot, I'm gonna die. Man, where's this stuff come? I don't know. You know what I need to know? You need to know everyone's freaking abilities. Oh, I literally could have just looked at the map. There might have been a Doombot thing. Freaking rockets coming in slow motion across the whole mini-map. Find the real fiddlesticks before time runs out. Oh shoot, what's that? Don't you die. No, you're not getting away. Oh shoot. I'm not getting away. Okay, I need to go. I want to hire voice lines so bad. So I can at least talk about the lore. When they talk their voice volume, I'm gonna crank that up. It's so quiet. I can barely hear him. Oh no, Vigar and his Doombots are stronger now.
Stars are wonder and love ignited.
Does love his stars. Oh shoot, wrong button. I'm dead. I'm dead, for sure. Oh, I forgot I have this. Do you miss WildStar? I never played WildStar. I got excited for WildStar when I heard about it. I was like, oh, maybe this will be a great MMO. It definitely looked great. but I never played it. I think WildStar was definitely like a miss on an MMO. It was different. I think it... Wow. This thing's just following me? What am I supposed to do with this? Okay. No idea. Okay, you're done. Oh, I can drop this while I'm in the air? Why am I so... Why is my health just disappearing on me? There was a couple MMOs that I felt like were big misses. WildStar, and I think Warhammer. Warhammer had a lot of hype behind it, but the game, like, for coming after World of Warcraft looked much better. The game did not look good. Oh, these freaking tornadoes. Ooh. It's like I'm trying to get hit by this tornado. Well, thank you. Isn't Doombot, is it against AI? Or are these real players? Because I have not won a single game of Doombot yet. I'd like to see how it feels. But I mean, if it is, it has to be AI. Our tower's not doing anything. You know, we're not freaking launching rockets. I've never been on the Doombot side. You thought it bad, but it got worse. Here, have a fresh new curse. Oh, that's what's happening. He's freaking throwing these curses. That's why these tornadoes are freaking coming out of nowhere.
This sun could do with a new core.
This sun could do with a new core. So he does maintain the stars. That's part of the problem with the stars that are around us, at least in Runeterra's case. Oh my gosh, okay. They're out-leveled us at this point. That's part of the problem with our sun. I always think about that. That Aurelion Sol's entrapped in his helmet and he's gotten pushed away from Runeterra, and he literally maintains the stars. And so what happens to our star? And I know like a couple of the stars around Runeterra have already begun to fade. It says that canon in the lore that the stars around Runeterra have begun to fade, and it's like making him really sad since he loves the stars. Okay. You're not going anywhere. Jeez. Alright, don't let this... At least get this kill. We can at least get this kill. There we go. What about this one? I just feel like a turret. There we go. I literally just feel like a turret. I just run and I set up somewhere nice. Somewhere cozy. Kill Mega Ziggs before he just shows all the buildings in one of your lanes. Oh, he's this lane. We should push this lane a little bit then. WildStar was a game with a lot of potential. Yeah, it really had a ton of potential. To be a WoW killer, it has to be a game with some really cool features and the potential to be in a revolutionary MMO genre. It's a shame the game was shut down. Yeah, everyone... You know what's funny? A lot of the videos that I post about the Riot MMO, I always say that it's good that they didn't just like create a World of Warcraft 2. They literally said that that's why they're going dark tweet. You see them say, you know, we're going dark because it was too close to games that we're already playing. And we see Tryndamere playing freaking World of Warcraft all the time. He literally streams himself playing classic WoW. So, and then I think Greg Street, who was the old developer at the time, the original one, literally came from Blizzard Entertainment. So that's the game that it was definitely too close to. And when I say, oh, it's a good thing that it went dark because it wouldn't be successful if they just make a World of Warcraft 2, people say, no, of course it'll be successful. Just follow World of Warcraft and put it in Runeterra. I'm like, you think that? But the truth is that if they make a World of Warcraft 2, they are just gonna... Everyone's just gonna keep playing World of Warcraft. There's no reason to switch if the game is the same game. Wow, this guy is... Can I get a health bar on him? I can't even see if we're getting close. This guy needs to die. Okay, I'm gonna die. You were in there, Sarah's Brave Bar, enjoying a reward. Oh, I got a lot of cash. What's this? Ability power, mana, ability haste. I wonder if ability haste affects this. How do I know if something, maybe shift? Mana cost, damage per second, burst damage maximum channel. This ability range is 860. See, like, does ability haste help this do more damage? I have no idea. I think that's pretty important because that's kind of determined if I want more ability power. Well, this one has 80 ability power. Maybe I'll just go with that. Why was this one more expensive? Damaging abilities burn enemies for 1.5% of the magic health. See, but that might be good. We're gonna lose anyways. We can play one more game before I have to go into the lore article. I'm just a turret, don't mind me. I'm gonna die. I gotta say, Doombot's pretty fun for me to at least learn the champions. But you know what else we should do? We're doing Shurima today, so I should be playing Shurima champions. The Doombots, I think, were just great this game. Really impressive. Would love to group with them again. Alright, we need to play a Shurima champion. Let me see. I don't even know who I have. That's the problem. Like, who do I actually have that's Shurima? That's in my, I have Azir. Azir's not in Wild Rift. Azir might be cool to play. We'll play Azir. We'll put someone loyal to Azir.
Your emperor has returned.
Nessus. Shurima, your emperor has returned. By the way, when we talk about Shurima lore, I'm just going to leave you guys hanging. We're going to talk through like the Shurima lore ahead of time, going into the article, so you guys understand when I'm talking about the champions lore. And I felt like that's one thing that I missed on the Targon was that I didn't talk to you guys about the background for Targon enough. Like I just went straight into the champions. Watching the video back, I was like, oh, you know, I should have probably explained a little bit more about Targon. Because I don't explain to you guys Aurelian Soul until the end of the video. And so, I don't explain to you guys aspects at all. And I just talk about aspects a lot. So for Shurima, I'm going to give you guys some background for Shurima before we talk about the top 10 potential raid bosses. I wonder if I should change these. I feel like that honestly might be better. A barrier. Well, it probably depends on the champion. Aurelian Soul, I really didn't use it because I had that freaking leap. Smolder's a really interesting character. Alright, Azir orders all sand soldiers to an area dealing 65 magic damage to enemies they pass through and slowing them by 25%. Well, that's really good. Azir summons the sand soldiers for 10 seconds. When Azir attacks an enemy near a sand soldier, he instead orders the soldier to stab. Okay. Oh. I meant to do this. Grants himself a shield for 1.5 seconds. Dashes to one of his sand soldiers. Enemy he passes through. If Azir hits an enemy champion, he stops and gains a sand soldier charge. Ooh.
I will shift as the sands.
Okay. So I think I need to really the whole goal is just to summon as many sand soldiers as possible. Azir grants himself dashes to one of the sand soldiers. And if Azir hits an enemy champion, he stops and gains a sand soldier charge. So what happens if I just summon? Oh, okay. They don't move.
Those who follow me follow destiny.
Okay, but the cooldown's quick.
The future will be written by the ascendant.
Ooh.
Order is given.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be difficult. Man, is this... I wonder how good Azir is, because that's really difficult to play around. Maybe he's really good in the right hands. That's not the case right now. Oh, I wonder if I dash through these characters, does it get, or it has to be a champion, right? Yeah, it has to be a champion.
Shurima lives in me.
I need to be getting these last hits. There.
We are the
Man, I don't even know who this guy is. Who is this zombie guy? He's giving me Brand vibes based on his abilities. But I can't tell who he is. Oh my gosh. Don't kill me. Azir is considered one of the hardest champions in the game to play. Good luck. Jeez. It feels that way. I'm like, there's no way this guy's... There's no way this guy's like easy champion to play. Just I can tell right now, just from trying to play him and the way his abilities work, it's so difficult. Like trying to line up these guys and then I'm attacking, but my champion, my little sand soldiers are hitting him. Azir in the lore is freaking powerful. It's probably fun to watch someone play Azir really well. Like, it's probably a lot of, I need to throw that guy down, dash through this guy, drop another sand soldier behind me. That's like, I think that's, you know, if everything works out, that's how it's supposed to be. No, don't let him. Alright, I really need to be getting these last hits. I need the gold. What's this? Azir. Azir summons a army of soldiers. Oh, shit. My gosh, man, I'm getting just destroyed. I'm gonna do it. Well, I did absolutely nothing, and I wasted everything. I did like zero. I didn't do anything to him. He's zombie Brand. It's a skin. Okay, yeah, he's giving me Brand vibes just from all of his abilities, but I couldn't tell you it was. Yes, it's Brand. Azir is one of the hardest. Yeah, he's freaking difficult. I can already tell, like, I shouldn't have picked him. But I wanted, because we're talking about Shurima. We're talking about the top 10 raid bosses in Shurima. I was like, oh, I should play a Shurima champion and talk about his lore. And now I'm just, like, struggling to even do anything for my team. FYI, Zerath, Nasus, and Renekton are all much easier to play. Damn. The thing is, I don't have a lot of champions. I'm so new to League of Legends, I don't have a lot of choices. I think Azir is the only Shuriman champion I have, and that's probably just because he's in rotation. Okay. Dodge this. I'm gonna die if I just try to hit these guys from behind. But I see him chasing Brand. Something I can do for that guy. I gotta make something happen here. Dang. Oh no, Veigar and his Doombots are stronger now. Okay. What's this do again? Azir soldiers in the area. Okay. Maybe that's what I have to do. So I go like this. Try to summon another one. Now I go like this. Did they all start attacking? Oh, they all move. They all move. I'm like, man, you know, I put the sand soldier here and then he's just stuck. What am I supposed to do with him? But, like, if I place a bunch of sand soldiers, I can actually move them with that. Okay. Zerath is all skill shots, though. The skill shots aren't too bad. It's just like the gameplay, and when the gameplay, like at least the skill shot, you know, like
Shall
you
guide
can get
you
used to it.
to great
This just feels like I need to have so much experience playing the game. Okay, let's try this again.
order is given. No sacrifice
Okay,
is
now let's say the range on this. So if I plant this guy here, plant this guy. All right, and then we go like this, go like this. Oh, I should have pushed him the other way. What am I doing? Keep summoning soldiers. Keep summoning soldiers. Come on. Oh, what killed me? Double kill. Freaking just fed him more. I don't think my team is actually that bad this round, so it feels worse that I'm playing bad. After the game, you should look up Azir's signature combo, the Shuriman Shuffle, named by players. The Shuriman Shuffle. I can tell Azir isn't a bad champion by any means. Like, I can tell he can be very strong, but he's just really hard to play.
but you must witness.
Man, oh, you know what you could do? You put a guy behind the champion, you dash through them, then you turn around and ult them into a tower. That's the way. Oh, I thought that maybe my guy could, like, distract the mob. Oh my gosh, man. I just feel like I'm constantly taking damage from these freaking missiles. You're describing knocking them back into the tower. Yeah, I think that would be the move. If you can pull off one of those. Like right now, this guy's at the tower. I'm going to try to do it. Oh, I don't have my ult yet. Alright, here we go. We move these guys. Okay. I mean, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. If I had my ult, maybe I could have gotten him in. Ah.
Challenge Shurima. Challenge fate. Need not follow me.
Is my team doing stuff without me? I think they are. And I'm just like over here being stupid. Maybe they're trying to talk to me or something and like being like, can you get over here? Get target. Yeah, I feel like he's trying to do something. I would love to.
Dare oppose me?
Let me bring this brand over here to us. I'll bring him over to help us get killed. Alright, I don't know what that did. Why is my W not working? Oh my gosh, I'm in like the freaking chat and I can't get out of it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I gained... Oh, it's only just a shield. I thought it was like a full immunity. After the game, you should... That's the shuffle? You're describing knocking them... Oh, that is the shuffle, the Azir shuffle. I could see it being really strong. The thing is, his abilities are so quick, too. Yeah, purchasing, I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Alright. Let's try to do this. Drop that, drop that. Yeah. Come, come. Oh, if I can knock someone into these two towers right here. Come on. Someone come. Oh. Oh, I did it. I freaking did it. That felt right. All right, I'm gonna get squashed. I don't know how I'm healing so much. Alright, come over here.
Shurima's legacy will endure.
I think, you know what's funny? We're still on easy mode. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, this is literally the easy mode for us. Like, I haven't gone up to hard. This morning I figured out that we're actually supposed to win. That it's possible.
Emperors never die.
There's no way this is just me. I mean, 11 to 26 on the count. That's not a me thing. Come here. You know, I'd like to win one of these mornings. All right. We have to go to the article. I mean, the Doom bots are just killing it. Feedback update. We're issuing a penalty to... Oh, what? Why? In your recent game for leaving the game. That's why we lost. Right there. That's why we lost. I was saying. There's no way we just lose. Yeah. Okay, we might come back to this. We might come back. After. Where is this? After we do one of these. Because it's time for the top 10 potential Shuriman raid bosses of the Riot MMO. It is time. Oh, good thing we already got Nasus up there. Will Nasus be a raid boss? Yo, what up? Yo, what up, Medellin? How's it going? I'm doing good. I just lost another round of Doom bots, and now we're going to the top 10 potential Shuriman raid boss of the Riot MMO. So, we are going to be right over here. All right, guys. Glad to hear. I hope we're doing well as well. Okay, guys. Today, we're going to be going through the top 10 potential raid bosses of Shurima for the Riot MMO. We went through Targon yesterday. Now it's time to go through Shurima. We're going to go over a couple potential raids, not just dungeons, but raid encounters that could happen within Shurima for the Riot MMO. I think that Shurima is going to come at launch, so we may see these pretty early on into release. And so I do want to give some background. Crossing the Scorching Sands. Oh, you guys can't hear the music. There we go. By the way, what's your elo? Horrible. I'm really new to League of Legends. I've been making Runeterra lore videos, I think. Let me see. For how long now? Let's see. I've been making Runeterra lore videos. Oh, I can just organize by oldest. Just about 3 years. But I just started playing League of Legends. Runeterra is this place, the world League of Legends is based on. Some people don't even know that. I don't know what level you're at in terms of knowledge. But yeah, not great. Alright guys, crossing the Scorching Sands. And there's a lot of sand in Shurima. My advice, don't play the game because it ruins your mental health. I mean, the thing is I love the lore so much that most of the time while I'm playing, I just talk through the lore with you guys while I'm playing. So I don't care about being great. It's fine. Crossing the Scorching Sands. Shurima is a land of myth, a fallen empire reborn from the dust of millennia. Its vast deserts conceal buried tombs, forgotten magic, and beings of terrifying power. For players in the Riot MMO, the sprawling sands of Shurima present a landscape ripe with epic dungeons and world-spanning raids. From brutal wasteland marauders to god warriors twisted by madness, the threats here are as ancient as the sun itself. Drawing from the rich lore of Runeterra, we speculate on the 10 most formidable encounters that could await adventurers brave enough to challenge the might of the Desert Empire. And I don't think you get to fight all of these in Shurima unless you push yourself, but especially when we start getting to the end, we get to some powerful guys. LOL, ruins my entire gaming table. Second, I only play for the lore as well. Yeah, I don't know. I came from Legends of Runeterra. I would play that, but for some reason, look at this, guys. I would play Legends of Runeterra. because that's probably my favorite game from Riot. But when I pull it up, you'll see the screen will go black after. You guys know how you have Netflix, and when you try to record Netflix, like the screen turns black? Legend of Runeterra does the same thing to me. Watch. It'll happen in a little bit. Unless it stopped. This is my 4K synced to my iPad. And I can't play Legends of Runeterra on the Mac because it's not available, so it has to be through the iPad. We'll see. Let it download and then maybe I'll come back to it. Yeah, freaking problem. I break 2 mouses and 1 keyboard just because of it. And then I was regret about it, like, oh God. And God flies me and don't play the game because you built up a rage. Yeah. Hey, you just gotta play it for chill. Play it for funs. No stress in League of Legends. I haven't stressed yet, but I think it's because I'm just trying not to be good. But I've heard of people raging on League. Now I felt that, yeah. Play Doombots with me tomorrow morning. The Empire of Shurima was once a thriving civilization that spanned an entire continent. After several thousand years of growth and prosperity, the failed ascension of Shurima's last emperor left the capital in ruins, and tales of the empire's former glory became little more than myth. Still a handful dare to dream of a return to the old ways. Indeed, more recently the tribes have been stirred by whispers from the heart of the desert that the Emperor Azir has returned to lead them into a new, wondrous age. And you got to remember that Shurima did have a rise, a fall, and now a rise again. Before its fall, Shurima's power was centralized in the Sun Disk, a source of celestial magic that empowered its greatest champions, the Ascended. This golden age was brought to a cataclysmic end by a betrayal. So the Sun Disk was not what we see today. There was a Sun Disk. It was raised in Shurima a long time ago. And whether the Shrimans know this or not, I'm not sure. But we do know that the power of the Sun Disk comes from Aurelian Soul, who we talked about in the last video with the top 10 raid bosses for Targon. And the Sun Disk literally pulls Aurelian Soul's power into it and gives that to mortals, making them ascended, immortal god warriors. So that's how it works. And the fall of an empire. So we had the Sun Disk, but then this happened. In ancient Shurima, young Emperor Azir was persuaded by Zirath, his mages, to attempt the fabled ascension ritual, despite ancient warnings to do so only in times of direst threat. Azir's hubris proved disastrous. As the Sun Disk focused the dawn's rays into a transformative beam, Zirath betrayed Azir, shoving his emperor aside and stealing its power for himself. In an instant, Azir was obliterated, and Zirath remained as a spectral being of pure malevolent energy, as the city around them was swallowed whole by the desert. Nasus and Renekton, ascended heroes of Shurima legend, sensed in an instant that something had gone terribly wrong and rushed to the Sun Disk. They hurried Zirath into a chained sarcophagus, but the mages shattered it into shards. Renekton dragged Zirath into the Tomb of the Empires. Why am I screwing up the words? Renekton dragged Zirath into the Tomb of the Emperors and shouted to Nasus to seal the door. With a heavy heart, Nasus entombed his brother with a madman in the buried ruins for all eternity, or so he believed. And that's where we're at with kind of the story so far until we're gonna get to Azir. Because I'm a professional noob when it comes to gaming. Yeah, that's good. No worries about that. That's how you're supposed to be, man. Not everyone has to play for the ranking. And I think I'm a noob by birth. We're not gonna lie. Was here to ask, would you accept offers from designers somehow? But damn, vibes totally caught me off guard. For real. Can't complain. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to give. That's the problem. Like, if you want to donate something to the stream, that'd be cool. But yeah, I got nothing to pay for a designer or anything like that. My website alone is costing me what my YouTube makes just to maintain. Maybe in the future, maybe one day. But that's where we're at, guys. So we got Azir, now you know Nasus and Renekton, their story, you know Zirath, so we're covering a lot of characters here. Azir's resurrection and Shurima reborn. Millennia later, the spilt blood of Azir's last descendant resurrected the emperor, and with his return, the capital city rose from the sands, and the sun disk shone once more. And this, we're supposed to start it right here. Pause this. Oh, you guys can't hear that. Hold on. Browser. There we go. Okay. This is Sivir. This is the last descendant of Azir. And she went into the Tomb of the Emperors, and she wound up like getting stabbed. And Azir actually saves her life, and in return, this kind of happens. Because Azir finds her bleeding out. Her blood literally resurrects him. He finds her bleeding out, and then he takes her to like these healing pools. And that's where we're at now. He brought her to the healing pool and to try to like save her life. Now Azir has been resurrected. And what's the first thing Azir does? I love this scene. Raises the sun disk from the sand. Yeah, I always thought that was awesome. Pause this right here. And then I want to show you guys this that I did not include in the article. Hold on. Let's go to Shurima. Shurima. Yeah, they have an image. This was the sun disk before Azir raised it. The ruins of Shurima, its once grand palaces and citadels cast to ruin. You could see it like buried. But Azir brings it back. And this image that you see at the top of the Shuriman page, this picture is right here. These are the people of Shurima returning to the sun disk after it's been raised up from the sands by Azir, like returning to their ancestral homeland. The people of Shurima were really, they were like, the people of Shurima honestly were the most powerful nation in the world by miles and miles and miles. When Azir last reigned, I mean, Shurima ruled the world. For Azir to return and see it in rubble, the people scattered in the sands, the void corrupted underneath it, which we'll get into. The void corruption spreading, like the people, Shurima is one of the weakest nations in current lore. Honestly, look at the map. They're not even, they used to control like all of, like this whole southern continent was controlled by Shurima, you know? Ishtar was like a buddy, an ally in a way. And Acathia was under their rule. But now, I mean, you go here, look, Shurima's already lost, like, this piece looks like it's part of Noxus. Noxus is expanding in Shurima. Belzun and Tereshni are already theirs. You know. They've definitely lost their touch, I'll say that. Time to get into the top 10 raid bosses for the Riot MMO that would exist in Shurima. Damn, Nasus Def takes some anabolic steroids with shoulders like that. I know. Nasus is a cool character. I always liked Nasus. He gives me like the most old Shuriman vibe, like sand. He's got that, what's it called? I forgot the character, but like old Egypt. He fits well. Yeah, he's an awesome model. Top 10 raid bosses for Shurima. Number 1. And we're going from weakest to most powerful, guys. So this is like the weakest raid boss that we'll face. And then at the end, you'll see the most powerful raid boss that we'll face. And then if there are any, we talk about the characters that are way too powerful that you'll never fight within Shurima. So the first one is the Sand Thrasher Warband. I'm aware that's not like a character, but that's like these guys, the Sand Thrashers. Here, you can see them a little bit in here. These are the sand thrashers. You can see this guy running out of here. You can see like a Renekton crocodile mouth there. Let me lower it a little bit. That's a sand thrasher. You can see him on the crocodile there. Yeah. Those are that's a sand thrasher. They ride the crocodiles. I assume that will be a mount that you'll get at the end of the sand thrasher raid. And it also really gives me Shurima vibes. Like, just, they seem the most basic, natural Shurima, right? It's not like you're going too far into extreme. You get the sand desert people kind of thing. A crocodile would be a great first mount when you get into Shurima. So, it just seems like a win-win-win across the board. And I think we'll stop right there, because we'll come back to this, guys. I'm pretty sure has just an Anubis from yeah, Anubis, there you go, thank you. Yeah, Anubis, that's what the vibes he gives me, Nasus. He's an awesome character and feels the most like classic Egypt Anubis style. Yeah. I'm gonna make him even bigger so we can really get a look at those shoulders. So these are the sand thrashers. There's Raz Bloodmane, who you just saw in that cinematic. When this croc was born, the others took bets on how long he'd live, assuming he was the runt of the litter and a freak to boot. Nobody thought to bet on him, eating all his siblings. No, nobody thought to bet on him eating all his siblings. So, the sand thrashers definitely have an interesting culture, right, to explore. Then there's this character, Bloodthirsty Marauder. The sand thrashers do everything with their companions: fight, hunt, kill, and eat. These are cards from Legends of Runeterra, and what I'm reading is like the description for the cards. The card art has like a small description for it. Then there's this character, Callous Bone Crusher. The soldier struggled as he reached for his spear, but she leaned harder on his chest until he ceased groaning. No, no, she admonished, showing her sharpened eye teeth with a wicked smile. This is mine now. And you can see her taking the spear from him. And this guy's clearly, he's wearing like the purple colors. That's after Azir's already risen, and people are becoming loyal to Azir and joining his army. But the sand thrashers are not with him. And here's the last one. That would be an awesome mount. Maybe like the crocodiles can be like the basic raid mount. You know, completing the raid will get you that mount. But if you beat it on like a very hard difficulty, this could be like the ahead of the curve mount kind of thing. Merciless Hunter. And there, tied up nice and pretty, Renekton likes his meals delivered still squirming. So, clearly these people are very loyal to Renekton, judging by this card, right? So keep that in mind. Raid encounter analysis. The Sand Thrashers are more than mere bandits. They're cohesive and brutal warband perfectly suited for a dynamic multi-boss raid encounter. The fight wouldn't be against one leader, but a council of the pack's alphas, like the fearsome Raz Bloodmane and the ruthless Anukta. This is Anukta, by the way. That's the character's name. That's Anukta. Players would face them and their giant Sauron mounts in a ruined cityscape. The encounter could feature phases where players must separate the riders from their mounts, deal with coordinated pack tactics, and survive the onslaught of a warband. As the story with Teeth shows, only the strongest survive. They actually appear in that story, and I linked to it here. Aurora Halunatis. This is just a creature that I thought was really cool in Shurima that I think would be a great raid boss or perhaps a world boss. I always like the idea of world bosses in MMO. You know, you're just running around, you see this massive thing flying, and, you know, it'll kill you if you get too close, but you get a nice group together. So this could be a raid boss or a world boss. Aurora Halunatis. He tells me that the bird is brilliantly colored with a wingspan as long as a man is tall. To look into its eyes, he confides in me one night, is to understand that you are prey. And that's from Anura's field journal. Anura is just a girl that walks around Shurima and she has like these notes. And these are her notes on Aurora Halunatis. So the raid encounter. This mystical avian creature is a perfect candidate for an aerial raid boss. The encounter could take place atop a windswept mesa or within a vast open-roofed ruin. The Aurora Halunatus would be highly mobile, forcing the raid to constantly reposition. Its brilliantly colored plumage could be a key mechanic, perhaps requiring players to align with a certain colors to avoid devastating attacks or to break its defense. The final warning that it took into its eyes is to become prey. Screams a gaze-based mechanic where players who fail to look away are hit with a powerful debuff or mind control effect, turning them against their allies. So I think that'd be an easy. Aurora Lunatus, I feel like massive boss, really different, unique, and if not a raid boss, could definitely be a world boss. Okay, number 8, the Bakai Coven. This is the raid. Okay, this is the Bakai are some of my favorite characters in all of Runeterra. I really mean that, and I think that this would be the raid that I look forward to the most. If we get into the Riot MMO and Shurima is in the game, and the Bakai are not a raid, like a full raid that they announce at launch, I'm going to lose my mind. Because the Bakai are just awesome. And their lore touches on so much stuff that will like really give you deep dives into like the history of Shurima. So the Bakai are a must in my opinion. If you're going to go to Shurima, the Bakai raid. This is the Bakai Reaper. Again, these are all from Legends of Runeterra. The Bakai all fled or were spared following their fallen ascension. Their failed ascension. So the Bakai were just like Azir and Nasus, right? These are ascended god warriors that use the Sun Disc, Power of Brilliant Soul, to become ascended god warriors. They're chosen in Shurima. It's not just randomly picked up people and tell them, hey, you're going to be ascended. These people served Shurima very well and then were chosen to become ascended god warriors. That's how Nasus and Renekton became god warriors. Azir was never chosen. He was the emperor, and he said, I want to be ascended. And he was convinced in the background by Zirath, who kind of manipulated him to do it. And there's a whole story there that I can get into. But you just have to know that Zirath was kind of a lower class civilian, and he always resented the upper class, like the Azir and the emperors and the ruling class, the ruling family and all that stuff. Because, you know, he was poor and he was brought up. It's almost like Zahn resents Piltover. That same kind of vibe in Shurima, where the lower class, some of them really resented the upper class. And Zirath was in that boat, and so he intended like to convince Azir to join the Ascension Ritual and then steal the power for himself. But these guys were chosen to be ascended, and then it just didn't work for them. They became what are known as Bakai, who are like kind of not fully ascended. They're ascended, but then they're not as powerful as like an Azir or a Nasus, and they're almost like looked down upon by the people in Shurima. So the Bakai all fled or were spared following their failed ascension, and none have seen them since. Who knows how long they have hidden in those dark tombs, bearing the mark of their shame. And so this is like someone writing about them in the history of the Ascended Host. Then there's this one. I mean, look at that, guys. Some of these images scream raid boss to me, and this is one of them. The rampaging Bakai. The bearer of a grudge's resentment only deepens, even if those they bear the grudge against are no longer dead. You could see him going against a couple of Sand Thrashers in here as well. Look at this one. Oof. Bakai's Sand Spinner. Each grain she spills takes a second from their lives, wearing away at them like wind. Easy raid boss. Like I can imagine 100% like a mechanic where the sand spinner is throwing out these sands and people are taking damage, and then, you know, maybe you can have like an aging mechanic in there. It sucked to leave with your character as an elderly person, but something like that. Perhaps after you kill the sand spinner, you get all those years back. It'd be cool to see your character age in the raid. That'd be awesome. This one's really interesting because this Bakai is all the way in Ionia. You can tell from the image that this is like showing some remnants of the battle with the Titans, with the Vastaya Shirei. So the Forsaken Bakai, in his hand he clutched a braided belt, a gift from his friend Rost before their ascension ceremony. But even as he revered the Darken's power, he harbored a secret resentment in his beastly heart. So a gift from his friend Rost. Rost became a Darken. So Rost was an Ascended like Nasus or Renekton. After the Void War, some of the Ascended become Darken, which is like, you can see Aatrox over here. Aatrox is a Darken. And basically they're just people that during the war with Acacia. So there's a Void War with Acacia down here in the past. This is after, so Azir falls, then there's this Void War with Acacia. And the reason this happens is because Acacia is kind of under Shurima's boot the whole time, and they revolt eventually. And during the revolution, they're obviously losing because Shurima's way more powerful than them just naturally with an army, let alone the Ascended God Warriors. So they get wrecked, and to counteract that wreckedness, they summon the Void, thinking that it'll help them, like the secret weapon. But the Void just destroys Acacia, as well as Shurima alike. Shurima does manage to stop the Void. They don't win this war, they just kind of halt it in place, thanks to like one of the Ascended Harak, but I'm not going to get into that. But they managed to stop the Void in place, at least for now. But the thing is, they were already corrupted. Like a lot of the Ascended that were battling the Void became corrupted by it. And those ones that became corrupted by it, to the point where like they started changing their bodies and stuff like that, and using blood magic and all this, they become darkened, who are evil, and they kind of want to rule the world. Their minds are so twisted and gone. It's not like intentional, but it's almost like their goals have been contorted into a bad way. And you can tell from this Salt of the Earth. One of the few known ways to combat the Void is to starve it. With no organic or magical sustenance nearby, the Void's material growth will slow until it eventually falls into a dormant state. And that's why if you're in Shurima today, in the real world, we're talking about like the world of Runeterra when we enter it, Acacia technically isn't on any of the maps in Shurima. They erased it from existence. They don't want anyone to even know it exists anymore because they don't want the Void to awaken. So I hope that when we enter the Riot MMO, and they do, if they release Shurima at launch, I want Acacia not to show up on the world map. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, this one's interesting because it mentions Rost as well. Then this is the last one. Easy raid boss. Look at him. The Bakai Witherclaw. Their sanity withered away like dunes in the wind, and in its place a seed of anger flourished into a fury no desert waters could quench. So they kind of have that. Okay, you know, they're definitely raid bosses size-wise, power-wise. They're not like as powerful as Ascended, but you know, they can go into like this tomb. Maybe we need something from one of these tombs. But their minds are so twisted, right? We have to go through them to get to it. And it'll be like a stepping stone into a further raid. So I do think the Bakai will be one of the earlier ones. We put them at number 8. A lot more powerful characters to come. Next up, raid encounter analysis. I forgot to do this. The Bakai are the tragic failures of the Ascension ritual, twisted into monstrous forms. A raid focus on them would be a descent into a dark, forgotten tomb, culminating not in a single boss fight, but a series of them. A Bakai Council. Each boss would represent a different aspect of their failed transformation. The Bakai Sandspanner can manipulate time and age players. The Rampaging Bakai would be a pure rage and damage check. The Witherclaw might apply debilitating debuffs. The final encounter could involve all surviving members of the Coven, forcing the raid to manage multiple threats in a chaotic, overlapping battle against these eternally resentful beings. And you know, just because these are the characters that are already present, right, in Legends of Runeterra or League of Legends, doesn't mean they can't add to it, right? These are just the Bakai that we know. There could definitely be like a very powerful Bakai who's kind of like a leader that we end up fighting at the very end. Damien, the Unbound. A lot of people don't even know this guy exists. At each place of power, shit bro, I missed the start. Can you just quickly go through the list so far? Yeah, no problem. So you got me perfect right before this one. So we're going through Shurima. I'm going to assume that you know where Shurima is down here. We went through Targon yesterday. It's time for Shurima, the top 10 raid boss in Shurima, one of my favorite zones. And we've covered so far the Sand Thrasher Warband, I think will be the first. It gives you Shurima vibes, you know? They got like the crocodile mount. You can get that as a drop. Perhaps this mount could be, you know, ahead of the curve kind of mount. These guys are loyal to Renekton, and they scream like base Shurima. You know, you feel the sand, especially with the mounts and whatnot. They just have that Shurima vibe. So I feel like they'd be a great first encounter. So the Sand Thrasher Warband. Next up is the Aurora Halunatus. I think that this bird, owl, freaking dragonfly, butterfly creature would be an awesome either raid boss or perhaps a world boss, just because it's one of the cooler creatures in Shurima. It has like a hallucination effect, could definitely like turn players against each other if someone stares at it for too long. A world boss with that mechanic would be great. Someone should pull it into a main city and just start hallucinating everyone. That'd be really cool. So Aurora Halunatus, I think, will be a raid boss or something, just because it's an awesome creature. Then the Bakai Coven. I love the Bakai. Their failed ascension ritual really like plays a lot into Shurima and can bring you a lot of history with the Sun Disc. And you could see kind of what happens to those that don't become the Ascended, like the characters we know of Nasus and Renekton and Azir. And so there's a lot of them already. The Bakai Reaper literally will, or I love this one. There it is. The Bakai Sand Spinner will literally steal the age from you, like steal with the grains of sand, age you almost. It's really cool. So there's a lot of Bakai, and I think a Bakai raid would be an easy win. And we talked about a Darken over here as well, and like what makes a Darken, just to give you the full story of like what's Ascended and what's Darken. And now, where's Nasus at? I don't think Zerath isn't in, yeah, he's not. There's no Zerath, but this is Damien the Unbound. Efek isn't one of the Fiddle's vessels also in Shurima? Fiddle is all over Runeterra. Fiddlesticks, there's like, here, let me pull up where is it? Let me see if I can see his deck. Fiddlesticks. How do I see his like, oh, I know what to do. Fiddlesticks. Path of Champions deck. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can, I know a lot of his cards in his Path of Champions deck show him. There is the Dread Harvester, which is like a Nightmare in Noxus. There's the Baleful Seeker, which is Demacia, stuffing out the light. There's the Shallow Siren, which is like in Bilgewater. There is then the Lurking Nightmare, which is in Shurima. And Fiddlesticks basically changes himself to adapt to the environment. So in Bilgewater, you know, someone stealing the light wouldn't really matter. These people freaking live on the water, one of the darkest places you could ever go. It says, I made a new friend today, a mermaid. She wanted me to swim with her and offered to teach me. I'm sneaking out after supper to see her. So you can see this little kid in Bilgewater. What's scary? This siren pulling sailors to their depths. And so that's how Bilgewater, that's how Fiddlesticks will present himself. But in Shurima, he says, I thought we had it handled. It was the first mount got dragged clean beneath the sand. That was no storm. Something monstrous lurked in that desert. Chains burst from the ground. Sand blinded me. I heard the cries of a man and beast alike, then silence. When their voices returned, something was wrong, very wrong. And so, like, he's playing the part of a forgotten tomb creature, you know? So it's whatever you fear. So even if you fear clowns, right? False friend, look at this. This is like even a Yordle. Especially this Yordle is really surprising that she even fears Fiddlesticks. So he finds a way for everyone. Oh no, it's not a fragment of Fiddle. No, it's literally Fiddlesticks. It's the same creature, just in different places and forms. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all Fiddlesticks. It's not fragments Fiddlesticks. It's literally Fiddlesticks just changing the way he appears to feed on the fear of people in those locations or that specific person. Yeah, Fiddlesticks is an awesome character. Maybe we'll do one like that. The top 10 demons you'll fight in the Riot MMO. Demonic raid bosses, like a demon raid. That could be really cool. Thanks for talking to me about it, Alexander. Gave me a great idea. Yeah, so that'll be another one. I feel like Talon is hotter than Garen. Well, that's because he is. So you don't have to, that's not really a feeling. A lot of people may think that they feel like that, but some things are, like there's a lot of the obvious ones in that way. Like Sivir is absolutely the hottest girl in Runeterra. And that's not really debatable. Next up, Damien, the Unbound. I love this guy. Look how cool he looks. If you know the lore, you already know kind of who he ties into. But I think he deserves a raid all on his own. At each place of power shall we draw forth the magical energy of the land, and in so doing bolster our great emperor's armies. And who is he talking about? He's talking about Zerath, guys, who's a character that's going to come up a little bit later. But this guy is definitely loyal to Zerath. Servant of the Magus. So there's a risen altar. At each place of power shall an obelisk be raised, an instrument through which the Magus Ascendant may draw the power from beneath the sands. And this is from the Herald of the Magus talking. That's a risen altar. And so I think that you're going to have this guy, Damien the Unbound. He's going to be protecting these risen altars, which are literally giving freaking Xerath more power. If he's not already freaking powerful enough, this is giving him even more power. And they're using that to raise with these obelisks that are taking the power from the sand. And I hope that that'll tie into where that power is coming from and what's beneath the sands, which is the Lavender Sea. So that could be really interesting to play on and could tie into something in the future. So I hope that they do that. But yeah, there's these risen altars. This is a Herald of the Magus. That's the one that was talking about the risen altar. The Herald spread her arms wide as she lifted her face to the sun, which hung bloody and red above Shurima. "Hail, the Magus Ascendant," she breathed beatifically. She breathed beatifically, her voice echoing off the ring of ruined columns. "Hail, Xerath." Here's another one. This is the Ruinous Acolyte. All of Xerath's acolytes gave something of themselves in exchange for power, but the most powerful devotees were hardly more than husks of their former selves, serving as both conduit and power source for their new emperor's energy. This is really loud. Oh, this is Temple of the Sun. I definitely like it, but a little loud. That's the Ruinous Acolyte. And here's the last one, the Waste Walker. The acolytes had been accomplished before they sought out Xerath. Now that they had studied what had once studied themselves, what he had once studied himself, they were unstoppable. So these are all people loyal to Xerath. Acolyte of Chaula. Yeah, that's another one. I don't think I got that one. In Runeterra, lore is similar to League lore. The League lore is Runeterra lore. They are literally batteries, yeah. I just wonder where those batteries are getting their power from. Yeah, League lore is Runeterra is League lore. League is based on Runeterra. Like, this is the world that League of Legends is based on. Every character that you play in League of Legends comes from Runeterra. Yeah, it's a whole world out there. A lot of people don't even know about it. Raid and counter analysis. Don't forget, we're talking about Damien the Unbound, kind of like one of the most powerful servants of Xerath. Damien serves not himself, but a greater, more sinister power. This elemental being would serve as a fantastic dungeon final or early raid boss. The encounter would center around the lore of the risen altars. Damien would be an invulnerable while drawing power from several altars scattered around the arena. The raid would need to split its forces, sending teams to destroy the altars while the main force tanks Damien and manages his summoned acolytes. Destroying an altar could weaken him, but also trigger a new, more dangerous ability, making the fight a strategic race against his growing power and a perfect prelude to facing his true master. What's your favorite faction in Shurima? The Bakai. I love the Bakai. I think that they're just like an interesting group. They have a lot of really interesting lore with them, with their characters. This person's literally, each grain of sand, each grain she spills takes a second of time from their lives, wearing away at them like wind. So the Bakai raid is going to be one of the coolest raids in Shurima, and definitely my favorite faction in Shurima. Yeah. Anyone who says the Xerxai is just insane. I'm sure someone's going to be like, my favorite faction is the Xerxai, you absolute madman. That's Damien the Unbound. Next up, Xerxirith, the Under Titan. Absolutely a freaking raid boss. I think this one deserves just like a raid by itself. One of those raids that you walk in and the only fight is the raid boss, I think would be really cool, would be this one. Xerxirith, the Under Titan. But what monster could do such a thing? Shuriman Historian. That's all the card freaking reads. But look at it. That's a raid boss, guys. This is a classic giant monster raid boss. Having annihilated an entire outpost, Xerxirith is a pure force of destruction. The battle would take place in the massive crater it left behind, the terrain itself being a hazard. This would be a fight against scale. Players would need to dodge ground-shattering stomps, tail whips that demolish parts of the arena, and burrowing attacks that threaten to swallow the entire raid. The key to victory might involve using siege weapons to ground the beast, or even climbing on top of its massive body to attack crystalline weak points along its spine. I would love to see something like this, where like the actual map itself kind of changes, right? Like the arena that you're fighting in, it doesn't stay the same. It kind of changes as the fight goes on, like ground demolishing parts of the arena. That's really cool. Rek'Sai's hubby? I mean, maybe. I definitely think that Rek'Sai really loves the Xerxai. What does Misfortune have? A Prestige Broken Covenant skin? Does it refer to anything in real life? I think all the skins, none of them have anything to do with actual lore. Let me see. I think those are all like alternate universe kind of things. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's found in the Forsaken Hyman universe. It's some other universe. All the skins are like alternate universe kind of things. Yeah, nothing like actual lore for Runeterra. That's the Zixaret, the Under Titan, and I definitely think this will be a raid boss, guys. The Dune Swallower. Another one. Another big bad. You're starting to get into the Void stuff. And you touch on the Void in Shurima, and I think it's just like a taste of the Void in Shurima, but then the real Void comes in the next expansion, which I'll talk about. It is rarely documented, likely for the fact that it can swallow entire dunes and any witnesses whole. This one's literally eating a Xerxai. Okay, thanks, yeah. I love the lore, so feel free to ask me questions about the lore. I like talking about it. Raid encounter analysis. A fight with the Dune Swallower would be a terrifying encounter with a subterranean predator. The majority of the battle would be spent trying to force it to the surface, using sonic devices or causing cave-ins. When it does surface, it's a frantic DPS phase before it burrows again. Its signature mechanic would be swallowing players or parts of the raid, transporting them to a stomach-like mini arena, where they must damage its internal organs to be expelled, all while dealing with digestive acids and smaller parasites. It's a fight against the environment as much as the boss itself. I mean, I just try to think of ways that, because literally this little Xerxai that it's eating is bigger than it, so there has to be like a way to kind of scale it to match the players, because you're just not even going to be able to hit its foot, right? That's the Dune Swallower. Very cool. And I do think the Dune Swallower will also be a raid boss. Nefiri. Now we're getting into some Darkin. I already explained to you guys like what the Darkin are with Aatrox and Rost, and Nefiri is another Darkin example. This is how she looks. She's like a pack of dogs. Separately, the dogs would starve. Together, they were an apex predator, feasting on whatever game they fancied. There were no individuals. The pack was the entity that dominated all. And this is like a Nefiri cinematic. So this is what happened with Nefiri. She was in a dagger in a tomb, right? She was trapped. The Darkin weapons, so Darkin were imprisoned in their weapons and then kind of placed all over Runeterra in hidden places, hoping that no one would ever find them again. Nefiri was put into a tomb in Shurima, and this guy freaking found it and is carrying it with him. Nefiri literally called these dogs here to try to get the guy to grab her. So her hope here was that he would have grabbed the dagger so she can possess him, because the Darkin work like that, right? They're trapped in their weapons, and if someone grabs them or holds on to them, they become possessed by them. But instead of grabbing the dagger, he grabs his sword. Yeah, and the dogs really kill this guy. He's dead. But she becomes literally a pack of dogs instead of one individual. And it's like really jarring for her. But then she realizes the power of the pack.
Can make a choice. Either give up or give chase.
So here she kind of accepts it, and she's like, I am the pack. And she really values like their unity. Now she's a pack of dogs.
But together, we feast.
Yeah. And that's Neferi's goal now, is to unite all the Darkin. Because she thinks like together they'll rule the world. But separately, they'll lose. Completely unrelated, but I have a feeling that Jin will die in lore and turn into a demon of perfection or art or something. He caused so much suffering that there's no way he doesn't have a presence in the spirit realm. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about, do mortals ever become demons? I've never seen that in the lore where someone becomes a demon, because demons are from the spirit realm. Becoming a demon would be like becoming a yordle. Like, would this mortal become a yordle because they spread so much joy and happiness? And I do think demons and yordles are kind of two sides of a coin, where the yordles kind of feed on human happiness and joy, which are things that are good. That's why we like yordles. But demons feed on the opposite, like fear and agony and pain. And I always wondered if yordles and demons kind of clash in the spirit realm a little bit more than we're aware. So that's just a theory. But I never heard of anyone becoming a demon. That's the thing. He definitely gives demonic vibes, Jin. He's a crazy guy. But I've never heard of anyone becoming a demon. That's the thing. You'd be cool. It'd be cool if you can. And Jin would definitely be one character that's ripe for that. Neferi raid encounter analysis. Neferi presents a truly unique raid concept, fighting a shared consciousness. The raid wouldn't face a single Darkin, but her entire pack of Doonhounds, all acting as one. The encounter would be a masterclass in ad control and spatial awareness. The pack would share one health bar, but players would need to damage many individual hounds. Mechanics would revolve around the pack's hive mind. If players group up too much, they're vulnerable to AoE attacks. If they spread out too much, individual players become lone prey. They are targeted for immense burst damage, and the key would be finding the balance, breaking the pack's cohesion to create windows of vulnerability. So, Neferi sounds like a great raid boss to me, very unique. She's one of the only like Darkin that's multiple formed, and dealing with a pack with like a hive mind going on seems like a very difficult raid boss, and that's why she's all the way up here at number 4. And now we're approaching the top 3, guys. Top 3 most powerful raid bosses that I think will come out of Shurima for the Riot MMO. Number 3, Renekton, the Butcher of the Sands. And you know what? Where is he? Renekton's actually in here. There he is. There's Renekton in Wild Rift. Aren't those Wild Rift models so nice? I love the Wild Rift models. Piece by piece, Renekton's sanity cracked. Xerath drove a wedge into these cracks, twisting his perception of what was real and what was imagined. You guys remember we talked about this at the beginning of the video. Well, this is live, so the beginning. Renekton sacrificed himself to imprison Xerath after Azir. He pushes Azir out of the way, steals the power of the Sun Disk during the Ascension ritual. That kills Azir. And then over here, Nasus has to shut the door. It says, Renekton dragged Xerath into the Tomb of the Emperors and shouted to Nasus to seal the door. With a heavy heart, Nasus entombed his brother with a madman in the buried ruins for all eternity. Now, what resurrects Azir? You have to remember that what resurrects Azir is this. Sivir. Sivir enters a forgotten tomb, and she's betrayed by Cassiopeia, who's another character, gets stabbed in the back. But she also, her Chalakar, the weapon, is what opens the tomb to Xerath and Renekton. And remember, Azir saves her. And so Azir and Xerath and Renekton all come back into play in Shurima at the same time. And then Azir raises the Sun Disk. So all these players come back all at once. Shurima's oh, is this not charging? Shurima's falling apart. Freaking, no one's here to save Shurima. Where is it? And then all these characters come back into play. One sec. There we go. Okay, yeah. All these characters, Zirath, Renekton, are in a tomb. Azir is dead. Azir gets resurrected, and Zirath and Renekton come back into play, all from the same event, which is Sivir entering that forgotten tomb and being betrayed by Cassiopeia. And so Renekton was trapped with Zirath for a long time, and so Zirath really messed with his mind. And then in here, we can see this. So, remember this guy? We saw him. We were talking about the sand people that are loyal to Renekton. Well, he got away from one of them. And here's Renekton. So what this guy's holding is like a little talisman, and it doesn't actually have any power, but the people of Shurima believe that to be the true emperor of Shurima, you need to be holding this talisman. And somehow the sand people that are loyal to Renekton got it, right? Everyone's got their own goals. You gotta remember, Zirath's people, they want Zirath to rule. They want Zirath to rule Shurima, right? They call him the emperor. Then you got freaking the Sand Thrashers. They want Renekton to rule Shurima. They believe he should be in control. And then there's people that are loyal to Azir, and so all these powers are kind of going against each other. Nasus is loyal to Azir. But yeah, so the Sand Thrashers managed to get a hold of this relic, and it looks like Azir's people, one of his soldiers, was trying to steal it for him. I almost lost a limb. I don't want to distract you guys by that. Can I pause this? Pause it really quick. Yeah, so he falls into the library of Nasus. These are Bakai. Bakai, a lot of them are loyal to Nasus. Not all of them, but some of them are. And they guard this library. What's that, ice? No, it's not ice. It's sand. I feel like... These are two brothers fighting. How awesome is that? There's Azir. And now he has the relic that the people of Shurima need to be able to see him with, to know that he is the true emperor of Shurima and the person they should be following. Shows the relic off. The Emperor has returned. Pretty awesome cinematic. I feel like Nefiri is 10 times better in lane than in jungle. I've never played Nefiri in League of Legends, but I'll try her. The thing is, I need all the characters. I need to unlock them. And these are just some of Renekton's level up animations within Legends of Runeterra. You can see he looks pretty cool. Just going off. Yeah. Looks like he's fighting like some mini Nasus characters and winning. Raid encounter analysis. A confrontation with Renekton would be a tragic and epic battle, not of destruction, but of salvation. Players would join his brother Nasus in an attempt to subdue the maddened butcher. You gotta remember, Renekton wasn't bad, okay? He was a good guy. He was on Azir's side. He pulled Zirath into a tomb to protect his emperor. The problem is he was trapped in a freaking tomb for years with a madman who was corrupting his mind. And so I think it'd be sad just to kill Renekton and treat him as like a bad guy. I think he needs to be saved. The raid's goal would be not to kill Renekton, but to survive his onslaught long enough for Nasus to complete a binding ritual. The encounter would be a desperate defense. Tanks would have to endure Renekton's relentless rage, while healers keep Nasus alive. DPS players would focus on breaking Renekton's armor or interrupting his most devastating attacks to buy Nasus more time. The fight would end with a death blow. The fight would end not with a death blow, but with a successful capture of a fallen hero, a somber victory against the darkness that consumed him. I think that I would like to see Renekton go that way. Who is the hottest champion according to you, and who is the strongest? I mean, those are very. You guys are asking easy questions. Okay, the strongest champion in Runeterra is no doubt in my mind, absolutely without question, Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol is the most powerful character in all of Runeterra. No one touches him. He won't even be a raid boss. He's so strong. He is the cosmos itself. He created every single sun in existence. And I don't think it's debatable, you know, who is the most powerful champion in Runeterra. It's Aurelion Sol. The guy literally is the Star Forger, and a single star fits on the tip of his finger, so he could flick Runeterra into nothingness. The second his crown falls off, if he really wants to destroy Runeterra, he could. But I think we're going to need him on our side to battle against the Void. In terms of who's the hottest character, that's pretty easy as well. And I don't think it's really a debate. It's absolutely Sivir. If you go to Sivir, she is the hottest character in Runeterra. And anyone that says otherwise is probably wrong. Aurelion Sol is 2 above the rest. Yeah, we're not talking about like a little bit above. Aurelion Sol is the most powerful character in Runeterra by far. Easy questions, guys. Easy questions. So, Renekton, I hope we save him. Oh, I talk a lot about Aurelion Sol. If you want to watch my Targon video, top 10 champions of Targon, that's up already on the YouTube. So, if you want to watch that, I think it's like, yeah, raid bosses, top 10 Targon threats we'll face. So be sure to check that out. I also have a whole video on Aurelion Sol. Where is it? If you just want to learn about Aurelion Sol and what makes him the most powerful character in Runeterra, that's a great video. It took me like a month to make. So check that out. Renekton, let's save him. Rek'Sai, the Void Burrower. Again, another character that I really feel like Shurima's going to come definitely before Icathia. And so we're going to touch on the Psychalik. We're going to touch on some of these characters like Rek'Sai. I don't think we'll kill Rek'Sai, but we'll definitely fight her. And then that'll kind of push us into Icathia post saving Shurima. And this is Rek'Sai, the Void Burrower. And this is her animation when she levels up in Legends of Runeterra. Look at her bursting from the ground. That's awesome. That's an awesome shot. Fear, not ambush from the hills, nor winged beast from the skies. The true terror of Shurima comes from the sand and gives no warning of her presence. That's Sivir's line about him. Subscribe, Mr. Yo, thanks, Katarina. You're wrong. Yordles is the strongest species in the universe. They never die. That the Star Forger can kill. Yordles. So if we're talking real, right? If you're trying to, like, I don't know if you're memeing on me, but if we're talking real, right? Yordles are tied to the Spirit Realm, which is tied to Runeterra, a single planet. The Spirit Realm is inexorably tied to the planet of Runeterra. It's a parallel pocket of existence. So Yordles are just tied to the Spirit Realm, which is a parallel pocket of existence, to the material realm of Runeterra. And so I think if the material realm were to be destroyed, Yordles would definitely be destroyed along with it. Now, Aurelion Sol could absolutely destroy Runeterra in a single fraction of a second. The guy created the cosmos, so I don't think that Yordles are as powerful as Aurelion Sol. I mean, Yordles have problems fighting regular people, mortals, let alone a god created from the cosmos. But Yordles can't die, but if you destroyed their spirit realm, where are they going to go when they die? I don't even know anymore. The spirit realm doesn't exist. I think Yordles would die. They wouldn't be able to go back to the Bandle Tree. A raid encounter with Rek'Sai. A raid on Rek'Sai would be a terrifying descent into the void-infested tunnels of the Psychalik. The environment itself would be an enemy, with collapsing tunnels and swarms of smaller Zerxai. The final encounter with the Queen would be a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Rek'Sai would spend much of the fight burrowed, using tremor senses to hunt the players. Raiders would need to use sonic emitters to cause localized cave-ins to force her to the surface. Once exposed, it's a frantic burn phase before she burrows again, leaving behind a network of tunnels she can use to ambush the raid from any direction. It's a fight that demands constant vigilance and control of the battlefield. And I put a couple Zerxai down here. So you can see her here. This is like literally a cinematic that just shows Rek'Sai. And I think it gives you an idea, a really good idea of how powerful she is. Hold on. Right here. So this is people walking in the sands. I need to figure out how to make it full screen. I'll figure that out for the next stream. These people are walking in the sands. The desert. Looks like traders. You got this guy, he's a bit higher, elevated. He's kind of a lookout. He's supposed to be looking for any danger. Yeah. Those are smaller Zerxai that are feeding on them. Yeah. Look how far she is before she makes it all the way over here. So that guy is not going to be in the Riot MMO, but that gives you an idea of how she hunts and what she does in freaking Shurima. So yeah, it's a problem. You can also see her in the call. I don't think I can play the music, but that's also Rek'Sai. I think it's more to scale of how she is in Runeterra. And that's her battle with Kaisa and Talia. That's all you see of her, really. Can't Aurelion Sol beat Goku? Yeah, I think Aurelion Sol could beat Goku. If you're talking about the Dragon Ball Z universe, Aurelion Sol would be not even more powerful than a destroyer. He'd be, I don't know if he's as powerful as like those two little guys because they're multiverse level, but he's definitely very strong. Sorry if you answered this earlier. Let me lower this a little bit. This one's always so much louder than the other one. Sorry if you answered this earlier. Does Azir raising the Sun Disk present an opportunity for Azir to create new Ascended? That is a good question. I do believe so. I do believe so. The question is, like, will Aurelion Sol be free before they can? But yeah. But I don't ever think we'll become Ascended. But yeah, you gotta remember the Sun Disk steals the power of Aurelion Sol. That's how it becomes Ascended. That's how they create Ascended. And he just raised it again. So I don't think it changes anything about it. It was buried in the sand, but him raising it up again makes sense to me that he could create more Ascended. Maybe. He hasn't done anything yet. We haven't seen him do anything. Aurelion Sol wipes out 99.5% of Marvel and DC, and those guys are the most fantasy things possible. Yeah, Aurelion Sol is like way more powerful than people give him credit for just because he's scaled down for League of Legends. Exciting. Yeah. No, yeah, that's interesting. I would like to see. I wonder if we'll see any more Ascended created. The Zerxai Dunebreaker. See, there's a couple of Zerxai. These are the ones that Rek'Sai is like, they're like her children almost. So this is the Zerxai Dunebreaker. While all Zerxai are able tunnelers, only the Dunebreakers have the mass and power needed to break through the veins of solid bedrock that snake through the Great Sai and open up the lands beyond for further hunting. And this is the Great Sai, the Sai Leak. This is where all the Zerxai are located, which makes sense, right? This is where the Void is, this is where Kathia is, and the Zerxai are kind of this area. This is their territory. I definitely think we will have to go here and deal with them. This is another one. The Xerxai Caller. Not all Xerxai are born to butcher. Some can summon their kin with piercing shrieks that rattle the sands as well as the senses. So you can see these ones. The Xerxai Caller, they see these hunters or gatherers, these two people running over here. And so they are calling the Xerxai dune breakers and maybe some Xerxai hatchlings to feed on them. These are Xerxai hatchlings, so they're babies. Once the caravan has been disabled, the hunters will occasionally retreat and allow their hatchlings to forage forward. It is here that the young Xerxai refine their instincts, learning which sounds are of the desert and which signal their prey. So basically they disabled this caravan and then they let the hatchlings go in to eat them. Do you think Tariq is gay? I have no idea whether Tariq is gay or not. It doesn't say anything in the lore that implies whether he's gay or not. I have no idea. You know, one thing that I always think about, that's kind of like why are people so infatuated with this, is like the, what's it called? What's not that it matters, like it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, wow, Jace and Victor. Jace and Victor are friends, which I think says more about like our society, that these guys can't just be friends without everyone insinuating that, oh, they must be gay. Jace and Victor are definitely just friends, and they literally had to confirm it that no, these guys are just friends. But for some reason, like, guys can't have like a good relationship with each other without it being gay. But that has nothing to do with your question. Yeah, I don't know if Tariq's gay. They don't say anything in the lore. Rek'Sai in Legends of Runeterra. It made me think of that, by the way, because Garen and Tariq are really good friends. And so then, like, oh, they can't just be friends. It's shipping culture straight up. Yeah, I think guys can just be friends. It's okay. Do you think Legends of Runeterra is a blueprint for the Riot MMO concept? 100%. That's why I keep going back to all these Legends of Runeterra cards. The Bakai are literally only in Legends of Runeterra. The Dune Swallows only in Legends of Runeterra. The Servants of the Magus, Damien the Unbound is a character in Legends of Runeterra. The Aurora Halunatis. I think Legends of Runeterra is the base. I'm going to try to see, maybe they fixed it in the last patch. Guys, if Legends of Runeterra is fixed on the iPad and I can actually stream it, we're going to be playing Legends of Runeterra tomorrow. It's my favorite game from Riot. Easily. It's what got me into the lore. So Rek'Sai the Void Burrower. Raid Encounter Analysis, I went through that. Those are the Xerxai Hatchling. And this is her in Legends of Runeterra. Young Jahura was exploring, as is his way, and in a small hidden cave discovering some ancient texts, we took them to a translator in Marlwork and the Scrolls. They speak of an ancient terror who stalked our ancestors, a queen, a Xerxai queen. And this is, look at her, freaking hunting. We have known of her terror for generations, but for our ancestors to know her too, how old must she be? How many of our people has she butchered? The thought unsettles me greatly. And this is like the Rek'Sai call, the pack card, and she can summon the pack to her. May the sun shine and may the Xerxai sleep. That's a merchant's prayers. Oh, I'm already showing you guys the next one. Tumblrins on Twitter can't be stopped when it comes to obsessing over. Yeah, seriously. Like, I truly, believe me when I say this, I don't give a shit. Okay? As long as the lore is good, that's what I care about. The second it becomes lore affecting, like where like it becomes like it's the priority over the lore, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't care what it is. But if they I don't care what they do with that kind of stuff, because it doesn't make a difference to the lore. The main thing is the lore is good. Like if Vi's lore is good, I don't care. She could like a Yordle for all I care. It wouldn't matter to me. It's just about the lore, the story being good. And it's not always needed in the story. Like, does Tariq really need to have that in his lore for him to be a good character? It doesn't make a difference. I don't think it's needed at all. So it just adds like extra reading for no lore purpose, right? So that's what I care about. I care about the lore. Number 1, Zirath, the Mage's Ascendant. Look at Zirath. I think he is number 1, absolutely. He will be like the final raid boss in the Riot MMO. Absolutely, without question. Look at his level up animations in Legends of Runeterra. He's a great character, a ton of backstory. He's relatable. Like he's not like, he didn't start out bad, guys. You got to remember, Zidath started from poverty, from the poor of the poor. He was a servant to Azir. And so he always felt like, you know, he wanted to change Shurima for the better. He just got corrupted along the way. But his goal wasn't bad. His goal was pure. He wanted to overthrow Azir and fix Shurima. He saw Azir as a problem, even though he didn't hate Azir as an individual. Like when he first started talking to Azir, he actually liked him. But as he you know, got more time, he said, okay, you know, Azir's not a bad guy, but I can't stop my plan. I need to save Shurima from this constant freaking level of corruption, as he saw it. So a lifetime as a slave has prepared him for eternity as your master, Zidath. He was literally a slave. So the ultimate Shuriman threat, a raid against Zidath, would be the capstone of an entire expansion taking place within the newly opened Tomb of the Emperors, where he once was imprisoned. The raid would first face his most powerful lieutenants like the Waste Walkers and Damien. The final fight against Zidath himself would be a multi-stage marathon against pure arcane power. Phase 1 would involve shattering the sarcophagus shards that bind and contain his form. Phase 2 would unleash his true power, forcing the raid to navigate a storm of arcane missiles and lightning. The final phase could see him shatter reality within the tomb, forcing players to fight across fractured platforms suspended in a vortex of raw magic. Defeating Zerath would be a monumental task, saving not just Shurima, but all of Runeterra from his mad ambition. Did you play 2xKO? I wish I could, but I don't have a PC. I'm on Mac. Yeah, I had to get a Mac for school. I actually I'm like a software engineer student. I got a master's and everything, but I had to get a Mac just because it was way easier for me. Saved me a ton of time to be able to SSH into like EC2 instances and stuff. And so it's also Unix based. There's reasons why I got a Mac for school. But my next computer, as soon as I can afford one, I'm going to sell this Mac and get a PC so I can play, you know, the Riot Forge titles. I can play 2xKO. I can play Legends of Runeterra on my PC. But I just can't afford it right now. But I'm on Mac now, so it sucks. I'm actually in 2xKO. I have the beta keys. I got invited to the beta, but I just can't play. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, what are you going to do? I'll get there eventually. Tests of strength, allies, and proving grounds. So not every powerful being in Shurima is an enemy to be slain. Some are potential allies or gatekeepers who would test adventurers' strength and resolve before allowing them to face the true threats to the Empire. These encounters would be less about killing a boss and more about proving one's worth. You have Nasus, the curator of the sands, and here's his level up animations in Legends of Runeterra. You can see Nasus coming up, and you remember in Renekton he's fighting like little Nasus guys. Well, in Nasus, he's fighting like this little army. You can tell how massive he is. Yeah, probably like maybe they're sand thrashers. For centuries I have watched, we approach a time of reckoning. Reason, a test of resolve. Before allowing players to aid him in confronting Renekton, Nasus would surely test their capabilities. This wouldn't be a fight to the death, but a controlled sparring match. The encounter would be a mechanics check, where players must demonstrate their ability to handle the kind of power his brother wields. Nasus might use withering spells that players must cleanse, or powerful strikes they must perfectly mitigate. Success means earning his trust and the right to stand with him against the Butcher of the Sands. So I feel like that ties really well into everything and would play well into the story, right? Nasus tests you, and then you go on to help him save Renekton. Can Mac play League and Valorant? It can play League, so that's why I've been playing League of Legends. I'm hoping that on the, I'll check later, but the iPad I can play Legends of Runeterra. So I can't play Valorant though. I'm telling you guys, it's unfortunate. As soon as like somehow it does better, like maybe the website starts doing well or the YouTube channel starts doing well, I'm gonna get a PC side for streams. Last one is Azir, the Emperor of the Sands. This is his animation there. It's like splash art. I don't know why it's twice, but I'll look into that. And this is level up animation in Legends of Runeterra. Shurima was once the glory of Runeterra. I will make it so again. An imperial audience. Let me hire this. Why it's so quiet? Let me just go here. As the rightful emperor, Azir would not be a typical raid boss. Instead, an encounter with him would be an audience, a trial to prove the player's allegiance and strength. he would test the raid by summoning legions of sand soldiers. The fight would be a wave-based endurance test, culminating in a challenge against one of the elite constructs, like a sandstone chimera. Victory wouldn't mean defeating Azir, but earning his favor and perhaps a unique reward, like the chimera itself as a raid tier mount. And this is the mount I'm talking about, the sandstone chimera. I definitely think if you beat Azir on like a heroic difficulty or something like that, this would be an awesome mount to obtain for players, something to show off in the main cities. Upon Azir's return, Shuriman's caught sight of an ancient beast of legend, made of sand, but no less impressive. So, would be a great mount. And those, my friends, are the top 10 raid bosses, potential raid bosses for Riot MMO from Shurima. Yes, sir. Yeah, I would love to play 2x KO, guys. I would freaking love to. We can check this really quick. Let's see. I'll show you guys what I was talking about, and then I gotta sign off for my meeting. Let's see. Usually the screen goes black. I think this one has like it in the middle. Yeah. We'll see. Let me grab this. I think it's the... Yeah, it's got to download a bunch of stuff, but for some reason when I start playing Legends of Runeterra, it will, like the screen will go black. Like for example, if I were to pull up Netflix on here, if I pull up Netflix, the screen usually goes black because, you know, it stops you from recording or whatever. Let me see. So if I go here, it should stop. Yeah. Oh. Well, I have no idea why it's working right now, guys. But if it does work, I'm gonna play Legends of Runeterra tomorrow for you guys. It's one of my favorite games. But I really have been liking Doombots in League of Legends. I think that's been fun. We'll see. Maybe it'll work now. It wasn't working before. The screen kept going black and basically trying to do, I think, a copyright thing. So, would love to play Legends of Runeterra. I'm going to keep this open. I got to go to my work meeting, guys. I honestly, you'd have no idea how much I've been loving talking to lore to you guys. I have no one in my family cares about Runeterra lore. I gotta be honest, a lot of people don't care yet. I think once the Riot MMO comes out, people will start really appreciating the Runeterra lore. It's some of the best lore, I think, out there. The stories, everything about Runeterra, I think, is really quality in terms of the stories and the lore and everything. But yeah, see, the screen just went black, guys. You see now I'm talking about? So that's the problem. Because right now I can see Legends of Runeterra on the iPad, but it's black on the screen. All right, I gotta go. See you guys. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. EST. Or actually, yeah, 7 a.m. Thanks for stopping by the Grove, and I will see you in the next one.